Welcome to the Radio Horror YouTube channel. Tonight we are talking about a brand new movie. We're talking about Smile, a film that's had a ton of promos for before every kind of like thriller or at least a PG-13 movie. You have seen the promos for this film. It is one of the most deeply disturbing horror movies if you are a mental health patient or possibly dealt with suicide or you're in therapy. There's a lot of trigger warnings before this movie, some of which I didn't even realize, I didn't even think about, other than just seeing the promo over and over again of someone killing themselves. And then watching the movie myself, I'm so glad I didn't take a friend that I was thinking of taking with it to see it, because we were talking about it and they don't think they could have handled the subject matter that was in this movie. Whether or not it is accurate in the realm of depression and therapy and antipsychotics and other things that people deal with in everyday life, to reality and fiction merging together correctly is unknown. But um, having dealt with depression and having tried to commit suicide at least once in my life, it is definitely something to think about. And the merging of the two films I kept talking about was like It Follows meets The Ring, sort of. Mostly It Follows, where that's a sex curse. This is a suicide curse. They call it that, a suicide curse. I don't think in It Follows they ever call it a sex curse, but they definitely say suicide curse in this movie at least once. Um, Holy cow, this movie tells you nothing. And Cati, the blonde in front of fear, is here to talk about the film that made $22 million this weekend.
Did it really? Good for
Yeah,
it.
it
Good.
seriously made cash. Bromance movie, whatever that was,
Yeah.
buried at $5 million.
Oh no, I love
No,
Bros, but
no,
that's a whole
Smile
different.
killed it. No pun
Yes,
intended.
Smile, written directed by Parker Finn, which I believe is his feature film directorial debut. I may be wrong with that, but it is a perfect way to begin spooky season with a grin and a ghoul, starring Sosie Bacon, Jesse T. Usher, Kyle Garner, or Gallner, and then fantastic cameos by Cal Penn and Rob Morgan. As Chris said, it is a film about suicide, and there are many aspects of that in the film. There's also very interesting when you're bringing up the psychological aspects of it and mental health. This film use with the film regarding so much about mental health, they really throw around the term crazy more than any film I have seen in quite some time. I actually wrote that down. I'm like, they're really just peppering everything with the term crazy in this, which, if that's how people can relate to it and it's an easy cop out, that's fine. But Sosie Bacon plays Dr. Rose Cotter, who is a psychologist in a mental health ward. She has a patient come in, first time seeing her. This patient is lucid. She talks about how she keeps seeing people's faces and they're smiling. And then next thing you know, she brutally kills herself in front of Sosie Bacon. After that, the entire film is just Sosie is Dr. Rose just trying to figure out what is going on, and every day is just worse and worse with the calamities in her losing her mind. This entire film would not be the same without the performance of Sosie Bacon. I have seen many people say that this is possibly an Oscar caliber performance. I mean, we all know with horror that's not probably going to happen, but she does act the crap out of this. Like, she is phenomenal. I could not see anyone else doing this role justice the way she did. I think the practical effects are fantastic. I think the cinematography by Charlie Saroff is amazing. The one thing besides Sosie performance I think is absolutely amazing is the score by, I'm gonna butcher this, Cristobal Tapia de Veer. Amazing. Do I think this is a perfect film? No. There are a couple things. One, I feel like, as Chris said, and honestly, you'd think read each other's notes. Yes, it is like It Follows minus the sex plus the ring. There's a limited amount of days that anyone who sees this suicide in front of them lives, and she's, you know, trying to figure out the ways. The thing is, the way that her fiance, plays by Jesse T. Usher, and her family kind of just give her the boot and automatically, I mean, there is an instance with her sister and her nephew that would definitely raise some questions and stuff, but it's almost, it's very, very unrealistic the way after, I mean, it's honestly like 3 days. It seems like she has no one in her life and they've completely turned their backs on her, which
Yeah.
that I felt like kind of was, should have maybe, I mean, I don't need to have a full story, but especially with the fiance, I felt like there was more going on that we didn't see, that this was like, I don't understand why that's happening. So then an ex-boyfriend that's played by Kyle Garner, who was a cop, is actually doing more for her than anyone else. Again, little weird to me. I thought that was odd. There's also, and this is nitpicky, but the end song, after you've had this beautiful score this entire film, like really known name songs or songs that are familiar, just this awesome score, then all of a sudden the song Lollipop comes out at the end with the credits, and I was like, what? I don't understand why that is. Again, nitpicky, but it's like, it, for it to end like that, I was like, huh? I could see this possibly being a franchise. I mean, if it made $22 million this opening weekend, it's got a huge possibility. I definitely can see this being on a number of top 10 horror films of the year. For me, I'm not sure. I definitely would say it's going to be in my top 20. You know, we still have a few months left. Not that anything's ending soon, which I doubt that's going to be on my list, but this has a possibility, but I'm not sure. What else is there? Yeah, when you watch the credit, when if you watch a trailer, it I hate watching trailers for films, honestly, because they give so much away. I was really, really mad after watching the film that there's been some commercials regarding it. One of my favorite parts of the film that reminds me of a film called Terrified from South America uh, is in the trailer, and it's honestly one of the scariest and creepiest parts of the film. And I really wish they hadn't done that. Uh, I think that this is definitely a film you should see in the theater. Excellent watch. Again, it's tight, it's taut, it's a great thriller. It has a lot to say about mental illness and stuff. So yeah, triggers, be aware. And yeah, I say go and see it.
Um, this was that was the most glaring thing in the whole movie for me. When everyone just turns their back on her, I was like, what the WTF? Because we're broadcasting this on Radio Horror. What? The fiance just abandoned her sister. Yes, they have some problems or whatever, but that, like, seriously? And then she's got like a BFF at work that I was like hoping that was going to be like more developed or whatever. I love the whole like I'm single. That was cute. But I thought that no, it's the ex whatever he is, boyfriend, husband, fiance. There's no real clear. I mean, the way her current fiance turns on her on a dime because she says ghosts. I mean, yes, people will be skeptical because we live in the age of science today, and ghost to anybody would be a triggering, like, are you nuts? And yes, she does have mental health in her family because her mother killed herself. But just as fast as he turned on her, right right there with a lot of character turn developments and plot lines you see sometimes, you were just like, well, that was jarring. Why all of a sudden do they hate this character? That's just, you wrote yourself into a corner and you don't know what to do with the character anymore, because this is like a solo movie with an actress that's usually been in an ensemble cast. She was on Scream seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And that's where I knew her from, and I was just like, oh hey, from Scream. um I hope we get more into the backstory of what this thing is, because spoiler, they don't explain it, and I'm not going to get into the details of what happens about it, because I think that's the most like kind of moment in the movie for me. But I like Unlike The Ring, where she goes to the island, she finds out about the girl and the well and the mom and the whole thing or whatever. Whereas It Follows, they do not tell you where the sex curse comes from whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I hope we never get that story. Don't ever write that story. Don't make a sequel to It Follows, and don't make a sequel to Smile. However, they might. This movie has made serious bank, and It Follows was not really in theaters. That was a direct to streaming DVD limited run theaters. This has made bank, $36.5 million worldwide at the time we're recording this. So maybe it's not completely over yet because we're still in Sunday, but holy cow, this movie will make bank through October until Halloween comes out. Or that alligator film comes out next week, excuse me. But I was really connected to this movie just based on like thinking about like other stuff in my life, and I don't think I could ever really do that to a loved one, but it was really jarring what you see in this film and what happens, and the wool pulled over your eyes several times, thinking what is happening, because you watch like Candyman, and I forgot the original actress's name from Candyman.
Virginia
Madsen kills the dog, and her best friend is killed in the middle of that movie, and that's not a dream. And something like that happens in this movie, but it is a dream, and you're very much like, oh, okay. And I was expecting that to happen, but they do that several times throughout this film, kind of like that beginning of Scream 4, where it's just like one killing opening after another. It's just a fake kill, but you don't know what's real and you don't know what's not real. You think you're going to wake up and you don't know what is what in this film. Like It Follows, you don't know what is the thing following you. You don't know, you're going to second guess a lot, and that is really cool. And that's where I give this movie all the props in the world. So I was just as surprised as Katie that it made $22 million. I was like, really? I guess there were a lot of people in my theater, but I didn't hear a lot of buzz about this movie other than just seeing that one trailer constantly. So
I knew it had its world premiere, I believe, at Fantastic Fest last weekend. So I know it's had a lot of buzz, and I know Sosie Bacon was there with Parker Finn, and then Sosie's mom and dad, Kira Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon, were there too on the red carpet. It is nice to see Sosie do this work and have like this lead performance, because as you said, she was in Scream. She was also in 13 Reasons Why Not.
Yeah.
13 Reasons Why. And then in 2, it's like What Charlie Says, which I thought she did an excellent job in that. And seeing her in What Charlie Says, I was thinking, it's like, this girl is going to be leading some films very, very soon, possibly even franchises. But I think she's got a great career ahead of her, especially with that. There's so much range in this, and it's interesting because as the film goes on, she's very meek in the beginning and very almost subservient, and then as the film goes on, she's actually like releasing her own truth just because she wants to find the answers, not only to what's going on, but also like get some answers for herself with some relationships. I do, as we mentioned, I feel like the character of the fiance was underdeveloped, or there's some backstory there that I just wish they would have let the audience know more, because I feel like there's some like either like verbal abuse or physical abuse or something, because she kept saying, I'm sorry, and there's a scene where she's like, well, I'm not Miss Perfect for you and all that, and that to me said there was some something going on that just as the audience we weren't made aware of. And it's like, okay, he's just gonna say see ya, like, I mean, that's kind of weird, because I mean they bring up the fact that they've been together, I think, like 7 years.
Oh my god, really?
I swear I thought I wrote that down, that they were like had been together for like 7 years. I'm
that
like,
is the worst relationship then.
what? Because it's like, how many days is this? Like 3?
Also,
like,
how long do you wait to get married then? It seemed like they've been engaged for maybe the kid being born of the niece, the sister's kid being born kind of upended that, because but I don't know. Just then how long ago was the cop pining for her? 7 years is a long time to keep pining for somebody you're not with anymore.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I swear I thought it was like something like that. I swear. I don't know why I've got 7 in my head, but yeah.
Maybe they broke up. She started dating the cop and then went back to the guy, the fiance, and the cop was the off-fling old boyfriend that she kept going back to. And I don't know. There's
I don't know.
Story we don't get. And I honestly don't do what Sinister did with the follow-up if you have to.
Yeah. I also felt like with the sister was being very much a Karen, but she was also had this bravado about her that she was like uber rich or something, which
Mm,
she seemed like she was comfortable, but it's like if you're gonna make her have this like air about her that she's totally above her sister who's a doctor and is like making fun of her because she's not making all that money, then make her have a house. It's like, I mean, give her the goods, like make her have a house. It's like, you know, a gazillion dollars and
right.
do all this. Cause I
Rose had the
felt
better
like it's
house.
like, okay, your house is nice, but it's like, girl, you don't need to be acting like that toward your sister. Like, I think the house she has with her fiance is better than yours. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. I'd
no
much
need.
rather own that house than the one in suburbia. That house in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. It's
That's a
like
really nice house.
you need to look in the mirror, sister. It's like, and also it was kind of like just, I mean, with the history between them, the way that the sister was portrayed is just being like just one-sided Karenish, and then a little bit when they're kind of dealing with some stuff, talking about the mom, which again was just like, God, I mean, I want to feel for you. Um, uh, but honestly, the more you're trying to explain why you weren't there for Rose and your mom, makes me actually dislike you more. Like I'm not going with you with like, you don't know how hard that was for me. It's like, dude, you suck. You just suck throughout this entire film. It's like I kind of want to feel for you, but it's like, ah. So I mean, it does make you just completely go with the Rose character, which is fine. This is Sosie's movie, you know, it's her world. We're just a squirrel trying to catch a nut.
Yeah.
So I say go see Smile. And I have to say, kudos, besides the stupid commercials and trailers where you're giving away like a key scene that was amazing, kudos to the marketing team for getting those people in the stands at different sporting events and having them like stare at the cameras like this. Yeah, a number of national sporting event. I think soccer, baseball, and football had people wearing a Smile shirt doing this.
Yep. Definitely.
And that is brilliant. If you can't afford to do all the masks, like do stuff like that, people. That is old school. That is guerrilla style marketing. I love it. I respect it. Do it more.
And also Smile is also I believe original too, which is pretty nice. It's based on a short, by the way, which you can find online. The short is I think streaming on Paramount Plus as well. But definitely check out the short if you have it. The short is creepy. Check out the rest of the videos here on the Radio Horror YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll be back with I believe Halloween or something else later on in the month of October. Thank you, everybody.